As we stated in an earlier question, if this levy fails, it will be absolutely essential to go back to the drawing board, not only with the board, but with the community, to look at what our options are regarding funding. You know, we have tax dollar income from property. Are there other ways that we can raise money to help us deal with the myriad of facility issues that we have? We have submitted our application in the ELK program, hoping for help from the state in the future. Are there grants available to us that would assist us in addressing some of the monetary needs ahead of us? But I think the key point is to communicate, to get suggestions, and move forward with a very well-developed plan that is communicated widely over a shorter period of time to get us moving on getting our facilities issues dealt with. They are not going to go away. They are only going to get more expensive. And I hope as a community we will think about that carefully as we all go to the ballot box this November. Thank you.
Next speaker will be Grant Chamberlain.
Well, if the levy fails, it's rather easy. We're taking in $700,000+ from the pipeline, set into a designated fund for permanent improvement. Next year, that number will double when the second pipeline comes on. It's about $1.4 million. We're sitting on roughly 14, I could be wrong here, probably down to 13 now, $13 million in the bank, and half of our permanent improvement money that we've currently allocated is being used to pay off the addition on the middle school. Write the check, get the cash flow back. Get that $300,000 and throw it on top of the 1.4 that we'll have next year. I'm pretty sure just shy of $2 million, we can fix a building pretty quick. The reality of it is if this does pass and we move on to build a new building, I've worked on the Rossford project. It's a 6-year turnaround. I mean, there's no kid in our district right now that's going to see a new building until 6 years from now if we build a new building. If it fails and we go with the monies we've already got allocated and start work this summer, the children in the schools right now will see that effect. And it'll have to be over the breaks. But it's possible. North Baltimore did it very successfully with their elementary school. Renovations done over the breaks. Actually, they squeezed a couple of them, flooring jobs, paint jobs, stuff of that nature, in on Christmas break. So I don't think this is that really that tough of an equation. It just needs somebody that's going to look at it, and I'm that guy.
Thank you. Next speaker will be Ginny Stewart.
If our levy doesn't pass, I think that this community needs to take a good hard look at what our priorities are. I truly believe it is going to pass, and if it doesn't, we will have to sit back, take a look at what it is we can do with these buildings that the OFCC, for the most part, has said are beyond, many of them are beyond refurbishing. They need to go away. We just can't provide what they have. And I want to correct something about this pipeline money. We have received $758,000, and yes, it has gone into a fund for permanent improvements, which are improvements that can be made over a 5-year lifespan. Twice it's been stated that we have double that money coming next year, and yet our county auditor has told our treasurer to be very cautious in counting on this money because it is typical for companies like Roper Pipeline to go back to court and say, we don't want to pay these taxes to these counties. So to think that money is going to be there year after year after year is foolhardy, and it is not a good way to plan for our finances. So the money is not going to automatically be there, and to even think that our school finances are not being well managed is also not true. We were $1.3 million under budget for our budget, and we saved $400,000 on top of that budget.
Next speaker will be Peggy Townsend.
if the levy fails, we'll still be servicing the same students that we are now. We need to look at their needs, no matter what facility they're in, and increase our involvement with volunteers, with one-on-one mentors. It's going to be the same no matter where we're at. And I'm just wondering too, Jenny just mentioned that we had a surplus. I'm wondering where that surplus is earmarked for. Is it earmarked for renovation if we need it? Where is that money being held at? So I was unaware of that. I had not been as active to the board meetings as I should have been over the years. Sorry. But as a taxpayer and supporter of our schools, I'm just wondering sometimes when there is a little overflow of money that we have left over, are we planning ahead or are we spending it on things that we think we might need now? So as a school board member, I would be raising some questions about we do need to prepare for the buildings for renovation if the levy fails. And I'm also wondering, these buildings, if we build new, they're going to get old. Are we putting back the money that we need to? Thank you.
The OCC has recommended that they have reached a certain level that they are not worth being refurbished, that they need to be replaced. I know that we'll have to look at the budget carefully and look for ways that we can, mitigate some of the problems that are facing, like 2 electrical sockets in one room, because our teachers cannot function with just that. And when they do use them both, they probably blow a fuse, and then they're incapacitated for a while. But we, as a community, I hope that we will come together and see the need and see that this is the recommendation that your community members have come forth with, and that refurbishing is really not an option. We need to rebuild.
The next speaker will be Brian Smith.
If the levy fails, we'll have to do something. We have to do something soon. Whether it's refurbish or fix what's wrong with the schools right now, as we work towards a plan to either replace or put additions on the existing schools. There is property there at the elementary schools to add on. There is room to add on. I also agree that they should retire pay off the bond or the lease on the addition to the school. We're paying interest on that. Let's take permanent improvement money that's supposed to be used to fix the schools and fix the problems that we have, and investigate if the community says no, that'll be the 3rd time, investigate what we can do to fund these schools, whether it's a 100% earned income tax or income tax, or a combination thereof. I was on the facilities task force, and our decision, we voted for 2 new elementary schools and 1 refurbished crib, and that's not what's being done.
Thank you. And the final speaker on this question will be Richard Stroh.
Well, if we take into the possibility that the pipeline money won't be there, that's fine. Set that off on the table, off to the side. One of the things that the public needs to know is right now sitting in the bank is about $14 million. That's what the school district has in reserves. And they do that because of state law. And the reason that they have to do that is because several of our bond issues that we have that are for operating purposes are 5-year levies. They're going to expire in the next couple years, and we have to keep that reserve there just in case the levies don't pass. Now, there's a couple things that we can do. First of all, when those levies come up, we need to change those levies from 5-year levies to 10-year levies. By putting them at 10-year levies, that takes that issue completely off the table, and that frees up a large part of that $14 million that can go right away towards repairs. And you say, well, yeah, but we like the idea of being able to vote on a 5-year levy. Financially, it puts us in a bad spot. It puts us under regulations, and we'd be better off going to a 10-year levy. The second part of my answer tonight is, and I know about this firsthand from the health department, is searching out state and federal and public grants. The health department takes in over $1.5 million every year on grants. There's Sherrod Brown money out there, there's Gates Foundation money out there. We as a district need to hire a designated grant writer and go after some of these grants so that we can find some alternate funding to take pressure off the taxpayers.